So, how about that tweet, huh? I'm late, I know, but hey, there's a Nintendo Direct on the horizon, and I know that as with every Direct, hopes and dreams and predictions abound, so what could we expect from this June's Direct? Well, not a follow-up to the Switch, at least. I took this tweet from Mr. Furukawa to read. We know you know we're gonna keep releasing consoles. We know you know the Switch is 7 years old. We aren't gonna announce the Switch's successor next month at the Direct, so please keep your hopes in check and please don't thumb the video down. It'll really help our small, independent game studio if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Knowing the Switch's time is short, realistically, what could we see in what is possibly the semi-final, if not final, Direct focused solely on the system? As always, there are headlines that are more likely to be seen than others, wildcards that no one could have seen coming, and that lull in the middle where third-party games are announced in rapid succession. Let's take some educated and some wild guesses for what we could see next month. To start with some lowballs with known upcoming titles, we almost certainly will see more information or at least a rehashed mention of Nintendo World Championship NES Edition. The game was leaked a few days before the announcement from an ESRB rating, and to be fair, we have seen all the goodies it comes along with in the deluxe set, which is gorgeous, by the way, but I'm curious to know more about the gameplay too. If only a few examples of the titles and challenges we'll see. It seems like it's going to be similar to the NES Remix titles on the Wii U and 3DS, so I'd be curious to see how much overlap there is between the titles. I also think it makes a lot of sense that Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance would get another shout out as well, especially if the Direct is before the 14th of June as one final marketing push. It's another title we already know a lot about, as the base version came out not that long ago, but all the same, being so close to launch of the definitive edition, I think it would be reasonable to see a reminder for its upgraded features and why a new player should nab it or a veteran could double dip. We also know of multiple titles previously announced in February's Direct with vague release dates, notably Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, Sonic X Shadow Generations, and World of Goo 2. Those seem to generate the most buzz. I think we're likely to see at least one of the above in more detail than an introductory trailer. My money would be on Epic Mickey getting a major spotlight, though I'd personally love to see more about Sonic X Shadow Generations. It's a pie-in-the-sky hope, but I do hope that we also get a revisit of the 3DS stages, which are now lost to time due to the closure of the Nintendo eShop on the 3DS. I think some of the stages for modern Sonic especially could use a 3D makeover a la PS3 and Xbox 360's versions of Sonic Generations, just to really update the graphics, update the gameplay, make them a little bit less 2D platformy, a little bit more 3D Sonic Adventure style kind of levels, you know? I think that would be a really good choice, and make it worth buying for people who missed out on the 3DS versions and never got to experience those stages. I think that would be a really, really cool addition to the game. Generation still holds up really well in my heart, and to be teased with just snippets of Shadow-based content is just a little bit mean, Sega. He's just so beloved. Knowing that this is the year of Shadow, having just had a new animation starring him announced, getting ready to see his tragic backstory on the big screen later this year, and knowing how well the year of Luigi worked out for Nintendo, I have nothing but high hopes for Sonic X Shadow Generations. What could go wrong? Speaking of Sega, it's been about half a year since the 2023 Game Awards sizzle reel trailer where they revealed they were working on new projects for Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi! So a Direct would be a great time to show off any of these titles slated for 2024 or even early 2025. Granted, and I could be wrong, so please correct me if I am, we haven't seen which consoles these titles are set to release on just yet, so a confirmation that they're coming to the Switch at all would be really nice to see. Speaking of companies with multiple projects in the works, level 5. Level 5, can I level with you? Can I 5 with you? I need Deca Police in my life, more than I need water. Level 5, please. Level 5, it looks so silly and over the top, oh my god! It has to be at least getting close to having something to show for it, right? Level 5? Furthermore, Level 5, where is Fantasy Life I? Level 5, where is the girl who steals time? Did she steal too much time? Is that why we're still waiting? Level 5, you told me to get a life almost a decade ago. Level 5, why won't you let me get a life? Level 5, I want to get a life, but I'm making mid-YouTube predictions for a Nintendo Direct. Level 5, and where's Professor Herschel Light in Level 5? What have you done with him now? We know he's gone to the new world of Steam. Level 5, have you abandoned the Switch to release his game on PC? Level 5, is modding the Professor Steam Deck a puzzle now? Level 5, where is Gundam Breakers 4? Wait, no, wait, where is Megaton Musashi Level 5? Wait. Where is anime football level 5? In all seriousness, just like Sega, level 5 has been sitting on a huge pile of killer game titles announced and shown off for the Switch and other platforms. I know that before the level 5 explosion, a lot of us just assumed the worst for titles like Layton and Fantasy Life, just guessing they went out with something more of a whimper than a bang to be forgotten forever, but man, for a stack of titles that are estimated to release by the end of 2023, it sure is May 2024 right now. Professor Layton's return especially is long overdue, and though I skipped Catriel's game, I'm a really big fan of the series, so hopefully the long wait means we get some really clever puzzles to solve, and sooner than later. Deca Police also seems like a really fun and promising new IP. The premise of the game taking place in a digital training simulation is really charming, and allows for what looks like is going to be some bizarre and funny situations, especially with a hacker character as the real wild card. It opens up so many possibilities for a cheesy, over-the-top mesh of puzzles and action sequences, the kind of anime/cartoon nonsense that draws people into series like Ace Attorney and Danganronpa, you know? I'm really excited to be able to play it, and I'm personally desperate for more information about its release. Fantasy Life 2 I'm really pining for. If you were one of the people that played it on the 3DS all the way through, you know how charming and cozy a title it is. The trailers so far seem to suggest that instead of the world being pre-made, it'll have more of an Animal Crossing New Horizons type of customization ability with the things that you craft in your lives. That feature is a nice quality upgrade, but I'm really wanting to know more about the world, seeing which characters return and new faces alike, seeing where we continue on from after the end of the last story. It wouldn't be super surprising to see a DLC after story as well, maybe not announced at this time, but down the line to keep the game evergreen. It makes a lot of sense that they'd want long-lasting appeal for the game if the rumored Switch 2 comes with backwards compatibility. And speaking of the rumored Switch 2 and backwards compatibility, call me crazy, but in terms of first-party surprise titles, I really hope we don't get anything too spectacular. Hear me out. If we're getting a follow-up to the Switch, most likely early next year, and if, in theory, it'll be more powerful and capable than the Switch is now, any big first-party titles would not only be a major selling point for the new console, but they could also potentially run better and do more on the next home console. Consider Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn and Luigi's Mansion 3D coming out on 3DS after the Switch's release. A general consensus from a lot of folks I heard talking about it was, why wasn't this on the Switch instead? Though both are excellent games and quality contenders for revisits in their own right, it just didn't make as much sense to put them on a system being phased out in favor of the shiny new toy Nintendo was trying to sell. I feel like with Metroid 4 being as delayed in development as it really has been, we probably won't see it this direct, but instead Nintendo might do another Zelda situation where it's released both on the new console and the old one on the same day, dangling the carrot for those excited for Samus's newest 3D adventure to also buy the new console. In the interim, then, I think it would be wise and really cool if the other two Metroid Prime titles came to Switch, updated and remastered like the first. It would be somewhat on brand to drop the digital release for Echoes right after the Direct and offering the physical release later down the line. There's just not a huge amount of time left in the Switch's life cycle to put out both Echoes and Corruption before 4 is released, but all the same it would be really nice to see. That said, we've seen plenty of remakes and remasters lately on the Switch during these Directs, so maybe it is entirely outlandish to assume we'd get something else just randomly added as a remake or a remaster. Again, Metroid Prime titles make the most sense to me, but something like Rhythm Heaven or Star Fox might be nice to see too. The ever-rumored Zelda HD titles would be such a treat too. If they remastered Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask based on the Grezzo 3D ports, I'd personally lose my mind. But with the N64 library available from Nintendo Switch Online's premium option, I'm gonna assume that they won't touch those just yet. Fire Emblem fans as well have been aching for the Jugdrawl games. I think that's how you say it, the Jugdrawl games to be localized in English, and to me, a Jugdrawl, Alib, or Tellius remastered duology makes a lot of sense. Considering a lot of fans have never had the ability to own or play half of these titles through official means, and many are locked out of owning games physically due to secondhand prices being just bonkers. Shadows of Valentia was such a beautifully crafted remaster of a game the West hadn't officially ever seen, so continuing on with that care for other titles, especially with Engage having come out so recently, would make a lot of sense to do now. Finally, and I base this off of the most recent season trailer for Splatoon 3, but I think we're creeping up to the end of the Switch's life cycle and therefore the end of Splatoon 3's life cycle. I think it's really likely that if we are getting a new console, then we're going to get another new Splatoon title. And if that's the case, I feel like we're going to get the final Splatfest for Splatoon 3 announced in this direct. Personally, just based on the very end of that trailer, I do think we are going to get Idol Group Splatfest, and I hope that everyone on Earth will join me in voting for the Squid Sisters, who are objectively the best Idol group. Team Callie was robbed in 2016, and I will never ever let such shame befall her name ever again. I mean, I'm just saying, only one of the two Squid Sisters got their song remixed for Smash Bros. Ultimate, and wasn't Marie. So if Sakurai thinks that Callie is better, she's absolutely better. I'm sorry, do you want to disagree with Sakurai?
何らかのヒントになることもあります。足の裏とか。
That's what I thought. I think that's about it for my realistic predictions for next month's Nintendo Direct. As far as how realistic we can be anyway, I'm not gonna get my hopes up about Kid Icarus or anything. It's not worth the letdown every time, but at least we're 13 years into the 25-year gap between the games. Yay! But as always, we never know 100% what will be there till it's there. And I'm sure some things have slipped my mind, so let me know in the comments what you hope or expect we'll see in this Direct. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. And take care.